Asam Shapat, the Ambassador, Embassy of the State of Palestine, the Honorable Justice Tuyot, Judge of the Court of Appeal, the Honorable Justice Gachoka, Judge of the Court of Appeal, my Senator Okongo Mugeni, Professor Wainaina, the Vice Chancellor of this great institution, Professor Wanjoy, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, and let me also recognize Mr. Kimani Njenga, the President of, is it all-Kenya moot court competition? A young man, you are up for many things. Great speech. So, Vice Chancellor, thank you for the honor and the privilege of inviting me to be here this morning. I'm delighted to join you today as you commence the 12th edition of the All-Kenya Moot Competition. I want to thank Dr. Atemo, the Deputy Executive Dean, Kenyatta University School of Law, Arts and Social Sciences, as well as the students for inviting me to be part of this important event in the formative years of the School of Law students. Events such as this help to build and equip the students with practical skills and the knowledge that is critical to their professional growth. I want to take this early opportunity to congratulate the organizers, students, and the teachers who are behind this great initiative. The broad and balanced invitees to this opening session speaks to the importance attached to this event. It is clear that you want to harness experiences from every sector of society where the lawyers are involved as you train to also join the profession within a short while. The theme of this edition of the Moot Court is sustainable governance, unveiling the intersection between the tax burden, good governance, and the protection of human rights. As many have already stated, this theme captures a timely and indispensable, as well as pressing national conversation, especially for the young and upcoming members of the legal profession. Senator Mugeni told us that he's actually going to be involved on this issue this afternoon. I'm sure he's looking at his watch. We are finishing very soon, Mr. Mugeni, and we will release you. Indeed, it is a critical events such as moot court competitions, which mirror the current issues that Kenyans are deliberating and debating. It is only in this way that students can relate what they learn in class or in the course of their studies and how this translates to issues that affect the Kenyans on a day-to-day basis. More importantly, the theme and the issues that will be covered in the mock court sessions will assist the students and other participants to appreciate the role of law in society. Back in our day, in the law school, we had topics such as the lawyer as a social engineer. And I remember participating in a moot. It was we didn't call it moot competition. It was really not a moot competition, but we had the privilege and the honor to do it on a program that was on KBC. So to be chosen to participate in that was a great thing. It was run by the late Professor Nyasani, and we used to appear. I remember when I was appearing for the first time, you can imagine the preparation that went into that, to be on the national television. It was the only television anyways, a television station. A television station then, it was extremely important. We did not have as many opportunities and exposure as you have today to learn and relate how theoretical concepts of law translate to and relate to issues that define lives and livelihoods. I trust both the students and the teachers take the moot court competition and other similar events as actual learning blocks and steps to prepare the students for their professional life after university. The theme of this moot competition contains keywords such as sustainable governance, sustainable development, good governance, and human rights. A quick review of the Constitution will show that these words are part of Article 10, as other speakers have already said, of our Constitution, which contains a list of our national values and principles of good governance. The 2010 Constitution, unlike the former Constitution, lists the values and aspirations and the constitutional culture that we should aspire to build as a people. In summary, the Constitution provides the set of attributes that should define the way we govern and are governed, and basically what should identify us as Kenyans in the manner we do things and relate with each other. Topics such as the role of a lawyer as a social engineer find their space and place in the Constitution, which provides us with the framework and the general direction that we should walk as legal professionals. Indeed, the values of sustainable governance, good governance, and human rights are not idle words in our Constitution, but effective and normative values that should guide the manner in which our leaders govern, the responsibilities of citizens, and the conduct of public officers and public institutions, particularly actions done or reference made in the purported implementation of the Constitution, laws, and public policies. Sustainable governance, especially as it applies to governments and the public institutions, refer to the governance that is conscious of the immediate and the future needs of society, and one that, based on this understanding, involves generating policy outcomes that maintain or improve the quality of life for the present and the future generations without placing an unfair burden on future generations. This also means governments need to safeguard the long-term health of their societies, economic, social, and environmental systems. Indeed, sustainable development is one of the national values in our Constitution and is a guiding norm to all governance processes. Good governance, on the other hand, means processes and institutions that meet the needs of society while making the best use of resources at their disposal. It generally means a responsive government that is able to address the needs and priorities of the people, while at the same time balancing the needs of all sectors of society with the available resources. Sustainability and good governance are closely related. The theme seeks to interrogate the relationship between the values of good governance, sustainable governance, fair sharing of the tax burden, and the protection of human rights. While this is a broad theme that brings together diverse areas of law, governance, and development, it is actually a rich conversation to have due to its deep relevance with what governments, including ours, continually struggle with. Again, the Constitution has basic answers that can set off this discussion on the right path. First, the 2010 Constitution contains the most elaborate of the rights that incorporate all groups of people. I'm sure the young people here already know you have interacted with quite a number of constitutions. Ours is one of the most elaborate, especially on the Bill of Rights. It is important, and I'm happy that you are already engaging actively in discussing those values that are there even before you come out of university, so that when you come, you are well grounded on those values. The rights range from economic, social, and cultural rights under Article 43 to the civil and political rights, and even group rights such as the right to culture. More importantly, the Constitution binds the state, its officers, and even third parties to ensure adherence to the promotion of the rights that are protected in the Constitution. Simply stated, our Constitution is a robust document that provides constitutional protection to all conceivable rights that are recognized and acknowledged in society today. Secondly, and more relevant to the theme of this moot court competition, Article 201 of the Constitution on the principles of public finance stated that the public finance system shall promote an equitable society, in particular that the burden of taxation shall be shared fairly. Article 201 further states in the relevant part, and I quote, "The burdens and benefits of the resources and public borrowing shall be shared equitably between present and the future generations," end of quote. What I read from the various provisions in the Constitution is not a contradiction of terms and values, but a call for a careful balance of all the factors in order to achieve what is optimal for our society. The Constitution intentionally seeks to create consciousness in us to recognize that we are not all equal in society, and it is the legitimate purpose of the law, public institutions, and our leaders to bridge that gap. The Constitution also reminds us to leave a prosperous heritage for those who will come after us. What therefore should the government and the leaders do in order to ensure that we achieve the optimal outcomes in society and our people, as contemplated in the Constitution? As you will discover when you delve deeper into the moot court, this question has no easy answers. There is no defined and set line that well-meaning governments should take in order to maximize opportunities. It is a careful assessment of the needs of the citizenry, the potential and the sustainable ways to raise resources to address those needs, and seeking to build consensus around plans so as to ensure effective support by all the people. The Constitution provides for, in great detail, the need to seek the views and participation of the people in important decision-making processes. Indeed, the Constitution recognizes that all power that is exercised by public institutions and elected or appointed officials is power that is donated by the people, and that the radical title to such a power belongs to the people themselves. This therefore behoves leaders and the public institutions to seek legitimate ways of harnessing the voice of the people and to have their legitimate and genuine input in governance processes. I'm sure you have seen instances where laws, actions, and actions of government, and even policies and budgets have been set aside for fouling the public participation expectations that are placed in the Constitution. A lot has been said already about the importance of public participation. I don't want to belabor the point. Where leaders conscientiously seek the views and the input of the people, the outcome will be sustainable and the good governance will be achieved. The makers of our Constitution thought very, very carefully and borrowed from areas that this has worked very well. There are times some people think that Wanjiku in the village doesn't have anything to say about what should be done in the country. Go out there and talk to them, and you will be surprised of the novelty of ideas that come from there. I recently finished the exercise of the task force on the police reforms, and it involved, when we were talking about it, it involved going back to the people. Midway in that process, we were requested to bring on board the National Youth Service. We had already gone around the country, and I said we must go back. We must go back the second time, because the views we gathered were not focused on National Youth Service. And when we went back, we were told a lot, and we saw that. So the issue, things like public participation is a key thing that the courts have enforced vigorously, and it is important that you appreciate that at this early stage. Effective participation of the people, while critical to good and sustainable government, is only possible when it is premised on informed citizenry. The Constitution protects the rights of citizens to seek and get information from the public institutions. The notice that should be given to the public before you go seeking their views. Sometimes the administration and other institutions gloss over that, wait until they come to the courts, and they are surprised, and they go out making a lot of noise. But we have the courts have. I'm happy the courts have stood firm on that. The Constitution protects the rights of the citizen to seek and get information from public institutions. However, our public institutions should go beyond this requirement and provide information to the public, and in an accessible format, in order to foster and encourage public participation and engagement. Where such engagements are manifestly lacking, the government policies and plans are likely to get a hostile reception and opposition from the people. Sometimes the people's hostility is fueled by an information gap, and the government can address this by making an effort to inform the citizens. Technology has made it cheaper, easier, and faster to reach and engage the public. Public governance processes should take advantage of the opportunities presented by technology to share their plans and agenda with the citizens, and to objectively gauge citizen responses to plans. Technology has also great potential to improve and enrich governance processes, and the government can take advantage of this to enhance the quality of its agenda and the public ownership where it is deployed and used objectively. The government can reshape and redefine the activities. In conclusion, I wish to end from where I started. I want to reiterate that the law plays an important role in shaping the collective destiny of societies. Indeed, law defines the norms the societies wish to abide by and whose construction and interpretation ends up bringing the desired social change. This is especially important where the people, leaders, and institutions of governance are doubly conscious of the need for sustainable and good governance and the need to protect fundamental rights. Young people, you will shortly join the legal profession out there and take part and become active players in different areas of the legal profession. You are learning the law at a prime time when the constitutional dispensation seeks to promote all the positive ideas for our society and advancement, for our society's advancement. It was not always the case that the law is aligned with progressive values as contained in the current constitution. Indeed, in some instances, it became a duty and a good conscience to oppose the manner in which the law was interpreted and applied. I call upon the students to take advantage of the opportunities that have been availed and the positive environment to learn what is right and to pursue in your young and budding career that which is positive in society. The topic of good governance, sustainable development, is a pet subject in many international fora. You're preparing yourself for that fora. We want you to go out there well-equipped. We want you to understand what all this means, so that when you go out there, when you get employment in some of those institutions, you're ambassadors of this nation. You're ambassadors of this nation in the way you interact with others and express yourselves in those areas. First and foremost, for your own benefit. Secondly, as I said, as an ambassador of this country. Thank you for listening to me. It is now my singular honor and privilege to declare the all-Kenya moot court competition officially opened.